Hello, one rental and at a time family. This is Jonathan from Convoy, and today I wanted to switch it up again with Mike, and ask him, kind of in this craziness, what is going on with the market. So, hi, Mike.
How you doing? By the way, when you call me Mike, I almost don't know how to respond. For you, I'm Zuber. Come on, let's get that. Let's get the friendship right, okay? So it's Zuber, but go ahead. Sorry.
Formalities, formalities.
Yes.
Um, but in terms of the market right now, obviously we're kind of seeing an increase in the yields, increase in inflation. Everything's kind of going wild. I'm sure this isn't the first time you've been through this rodeo.
Mhm.
What's your initial reaction to this, especially when it comes to investment real estate and the mortgage market?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things going on right now, and they will likely be going on for several months, unfortunately. Right? When you step into this year, I was on record saying that 2025 was going to be better than 2020, or 2026 would be better than 2025. I actually came into the year calling for 4 rate cuts. And ever since we invaded Iran on February 27th, that has now all gone out the window. I've been in the camp, unfortunately, since day one that this was going to be a long and drawn out war. And my biggest fear is that boots on the ground would ultimately be required. And I see no reason to not believe that horrible situation is going to transpire. But what does that mean for the mortgage market, the real estate market? That means that I think we're going to have some very uncomfortable days. I think the 4 rate cuts I was hoping for are gone. In fact, I now believe that we will have a rate hike in 2026. So, talk about a complete change from what I originally thought. Inflation in a couple of weeks when CPI come out, it's going to be 3. It might even be 3.1. It's going to be nasty. And it's going to set up a couple of months in a row where, Jonathan, in all fairness, we might be over 4% in a couple of months. It's going to be nasty. And thus, a Fed rate hike. But, if you want to play the longer game, where does this go on the economy? And then we'll get to rates in a minute because there is a story
Mhm.
here. Rates are going to be uncomfortably high going higher. It's going to cause the Fed to raise rates, like I've said, at least once this year. That's going to then guarantee a recession. It's going to guarantee demand destruction. And probably sometime in 2027, the Fed will go on a massive rate cutting cycle because, again, they know how to defeat a recession, and that's lowering rates. So that's currently how I see the long game playing out. But now, what should you do today? Well, Redfin has just put out an article talking about there being 680,000 more sellers than buyers. And most people read that article and they're like, holy shit, I'm afraid. If you're in my world, you should be smiling like a Cheshire cat. You should be ecstatic. In fact, I hope mortgage rates go to 7 or even 8%. Why? Because again, I'm ecstatic. I only write deals that cash flow day one. So I don't care if everybody's paying 8% just like me. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get better deals at better prices. I want less competition. I want more motivated sellers. And I've been here before. When the entire world zags, I want to zig. And when they zig, I want to zag. And right now, everybody's running away. So I'm going to run in. Right now, in fairness, 6 weeks ago, you helped me raise almost $1 million, right? Through a couple of refis. And then I sold a property. And I'm sitting on a big pile of cash, just like that was good timing. Because again, I
Yeah.
got my stuff below 6. And yeah, it's just having an investor mindset. Like when the entire world's on fire and scared, it's the time to be aggressive. And right now, everybody's afraid. So what I would tell a couple of people, if you're watching this and you're investors, is if you need more dry powder, there's nothing wrong with a cash out refi today, even at 6.5. It doesn't matter, right? Assuming, again, no alligators, all the
Mhm.
standard rules apply. But yeah, if you have cash and you're a buyer today, dude, write more aggressive offers. Like, let's say you're tracking a property at 400 and your model says 360 is the number. Dude, I'm writing that offer at 333 or 338 or something. Because again, I only need to do one. So it might
Yeah.
as well be an amazing deal. So the last thing I'll tell you on this run is there will likely be more motivated sellers and less competition for the next 3 to 6 months. And those are happy days for me. And then, oh, by the way, if you want to play out 2027, let's say I lock up a deal and I'm paying 7% interest and I am right about the Fed cutting rates next year. Well, okay, so maybe by next year this time, or maybe next September, so 15 months from now, I refi to 5.5. It worked at 7. It's going to work better at 5.5. So I just think investors need to change their mindset. And as home buyers and home sellers are freaking out, it's time to get aggressive and get greedy. And these times do not come around a lot. I've probably seen 2 or 3 times like this in 30 years. And you just got to be greedy when other people are afraid. Jonathan, this is a great time. So I would tell people to know that this is a great time.
Wait, so I think maybe I heard you, but I wanted to reinstate. You think obviously rate hikes, right? Potentially, and we're talking back in 2 years ago level, 7 and 8 is a potential. It's on the table right now.
Certainly 7. I used 8 as an extreme.
Yeah.
I don't think 8's coming, but it would not shock me if you're quoting cash out refis with a 7 handle by the summer. It would not shock me. But again, people just need to look at the opportunity cost. All right, so I can come to Jonathan or your partner Dustin, come to Convoy. I can extract $100,000. It's going to cost me 7%, but I can still cash flow on this asset. But that $100,000 I can use to deploy on a life-changing deal because some motivated sellers got no offers in 6 months, and I'm going to steal this at 80 cents on the dollar. No brainer, right? That's what we're supposed to do. I think so many people today got used to 2020 and 21. That's not normal.
Yeah.
So again, use these chaos as opportunities. And I'm excited for what's ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in terms of moving, kind of segueing more into the rate side and the mortgage market side, obviously rates have gone up, right? And that's not a lie. You just stated it yourself, and we think it's going to continue to go up for at least the next few months. I think people are not looking at the data going forward, right? They're only looking at what the feds are talking about, what inflation was last month. But like you said, next month, which is this month's information, is going to be extremely terrible.
Oh, it's going to be horrible.
Extremely, right after the oils and all that, it's going to be really bad. So for anyone kind of waiting on the sideline to be like, hey, should I buy right now or should I refinance right now, right this minute, before the news hits about that? We all know the next meeting is going to be a bad meeting. So what are people waiting for? What's your kind of push to them right now?
I mean, if you're looking at the next 8 weeks, 10 weeks, and you have any inclination that rates are going to be lower, you're basically saying this war is going to be over and we have peace. That's basically what you're saying. And oh, by the way, I hope you're right. I do. I hope you're right. But that's the only way rates go down in the next 10 weeks. We have oil shock. We have countries like the Philippines declaring national emergency. This is a worldwide problem. We have oil, we have gas up almost $1 in the country. We have, it's not good.
It's not.
Is it possible that rates are lower in 10 weeks? Yes. That's because we have worldwide peace and no more bombs dropping. Is it possible? Sure. It's a non-zero possibility, but it ain't a high possibility. Anybody looks at what's going on the ground in Iran right now and thinks things are going to get better is not paying attention. Yeah. Right? This is going to get worse before it gets better. And oh, by the way, then you just look at the macroeconomic pictures. We're going to get the CPI print probably by the 15th of May or April, excuse me. And it's going to be ugly. It's going to have a 3 handle on it. It was just 2.4. It's going to be 3. So again, that is an extreme move in 1 month. So I don't know how anybody could look at the next 10 weeks and think rates are going lower unless you think we're going to have peace. And while that's a great hope, it doesn't look likely.
Yeah. And right now, still, right, most of the deals that we've been, and I told you this off camera, most of the deals that we've been writing have been still low 6s. Yeah, so low 6s, buy it into the high 5s.
Yeah.
that is, you're still happy there. It hasn't fully hit. It's almost like it's a 2 week delay on
Yeah.
what's happening to the market before it goes up again, because we get alerts every day now,
Yeah.
like rates are going up, rates are
You
going up,
like it,
rates are going
lock it.
up.
Like it, lock it.
It's like it's gonna be that for the next, I want to say at least 3 months, right? So what I'm recommending people is like, just if you're trying to do a cash out refinance right now, to deploy the capital, like you said, to do next time, like go
Yeah.
buy something right now while it's distressed. This is the moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would again, I got lucky and did my refi before this thing broke out, but if I was still in the mix, like if we were just middle of the process, I'd still continue. Because yeah, it's going to cost me an extra half a point or whatever, but that opportunity cost of not having that $500,000, I'm not missing that. Right?
Yeah.
Because again, that $500,000 I could turn into that might get me a 12, 15, 18% yield on the next deal because I buy it from a distressed seller. I'm not going to miss that for, a couple of points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think then, like, final note, in terms of the rate environment right now, in the past of the different economic cycles and the wars that you've seen in the past, right, and been historically studied, what is your kind of outlook on, hey, when do you think this will calm down, or when will it kind of like ease out to where people are starting to feel a little better and the rates are starting to feel a little better and all that?
So, in my opinion, which again, I don't claim to be a military expert, but I've studied the
Hmm.
economy for 30 years and oil shocks all the way back to the 70s. I think the best case, I'll give you the best case, mid case, and worst case. The best case is 90 days. So, what's that? June? Let's call it July 1st.
Hmm.
Best case. Probably the base case, meaning the most likely, January.
Wow.
Worst
27.
case, yeah, January 27th. Worst case, dude, we're out in like 28, 29. Because
Yeah.
there's a chance that this gets so bad that people start taking out oil refineries and oil this and oil that. And once you do that, you're talking 4 or 5 years to rebuild that stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, not good. I mean, this could
Yeah.
get really wild.
Some Mad Max situations, like
Exactly.
literally. Yeah, yeah. I
Exactly.
think that I think that backlog is what people are not also studying and understanding of, like, these countries that have to have the oil. And if you look in California, like where I'm driving around, I see $9 in some areas.
Yeah,
Like, it's there, like $9 for normal 87 gas, right? It's
that's
obviously no
nuts.
one's going there, but people are starting to price there, which means that on average, I'm seeing anywhere between like 650 to 7.
Dude, California could
So
have $10 gas.
it's crazy. Pe-
Absolutely.
and obviously people go to the gas station, you look at the gas pumps and you see how much people are putting in, as like an indicator of what
Yeah.
people are putting in. $2, 50 cents, like a
Yeah, it's
dollar.
nuts.
Like, it's real. That's what's happening. So,
No, so the last thing I'll say about this, because again, this is about interest rates, but
mhm,
every oil shock since the 1970s has preceded a recession. So that's why I tried to articulate this: oil shock leads to demand destruction, right? Oil shock, inflation, interest rate, demand destruction, interest rate cuts. But we're going to be cutting because we're in a recession, right? It could be deep and dark. Like if this goes worst case and they start taking out oil refineries and pipelines and stuff, and you're talking about $150 oil for 2 years,
yeah,
come on,
yeah,
recession for sure.
yeah. Which is why the opportunity sits now in terms of real estate wise. While everyone's afraid of what's going to happen, who knows if it'll get to that point? But if it doesn't get to that point, you
Yeah,
just you just went on and
yeah,
did kind of like the most magical thing you ever could have invested in, right?
yeah.
Just
The
buying on fear.
the whole key to most of my wealth has been created because I found the buyer who wanted to sell. They had a don't wanter. And when somebody doesn't want something, they will take aggressive pricing or aggressive
Hmm.
aggressive terms, or sometimes both. That's where we are. We are at a moment in time where some folks out there are going to get amazing prices on amazing terms, and there'll be deals of a lifetime. Right? I've done it before and plan to do it again. This is the time that deals of a lifetime can happen.
For sure. Yeah. If anyone wanted to reach out to us, they can go to convoyhomeloans.com. Let us know you came from Morat, and you'll talk to Dustin or myself.
Yeah, folks, you got to say you came from ORAT. If you don't, you end up in a big, long queue, and you are better than living in a queue. Tell them you came from ORAT. You go right to Dustin or this fine gentleman, Jonathan. Take care.
Thank you.